Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Bryan Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Bryan Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Attorney General Derek Schmidt to talk about the Lesser Prairie Chicken lawsuit. And Inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Wheat talks about a new series of baking videos available, and Farm Bureau discusses their involvement with the Lesser Prairie Chicken lawsuit as well. In the news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association, we'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The 2014 U.S. corn and soybean harvests are close to the finish line. The most recent report shows that 89% of corn is harvested compared to 90% this time last year. 94% of soybeans are harvested, same as last year. Winter wheat is 95% in the ground with 87% emerged and 60% is rated good to excellent. The USDA is extending the comment period for its proposed rule allowing imports of fresh beef from a region in northern Argentina. Many cattle groups and members of Congress oppose the proposal because there's been foot and mouth disease in that region, and the last case of foot and mouth disease in the United States originated in Argentina. The new deadline for comments made to the Animal Plant Health Inspection Service is through December 29th. Visit aphis.usda.gov for more information. According to the USDA, the 2013-14 U.S. soybean export total includes more than 1.6 billion bushels of whole soybeans, meal made from 484 million bushels, and oil from 161 million bushels of U.S. soybeans. The total represents 62% of U.S. soybean production. The top buyers of whole U.S. soybeans from 2013 through 2014 include China at 1 billion bushels, Mexico at 124 million bushels, and Indonesia at 75 million bushels. And in local news, Governor Brownback and the Water Vision team shared the second draft of the long-term vision for the future of water supply in Kansas. The second draft is available at kwo.org and outlines a process of establishing goals by region for the vision. The Kansas Water Authority is seeking recommendations to serve on regional goal-setting teams. If you're interested or have a recommendation, please provide the name, email address, home city, and 2 to 3 brief sentences of qualifications of the individual to Susan Metzger at susan.metzger@kwo.ks.gov by December 10th. According to USDA's NASS, Kansas feedlots with 1,000 or more head contained 2 million cattle on feed on November 1st. This inventory was up 1% from 2013. Placements during October totaled 420,000 head, down 11% from last year. Fed cattle marketings for October totaled 320,000 head, down 20% from last year. Adrian Plansky, State Executive Director of USDA's Farm Service Agency, urges dairy producers to choose their margin protection program by December 5th. To learn more about the margin protection program, contact your local Farm Service Agency or go to fsa.usda.gov. You must visit your Farm Service Agency office to enroll before December 5th to lock in your protection through 2018. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Attorney General Derek Schmidt to talk about the Lesser Prairie Chicken lawsuit. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Poe, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
At Ag Risk Solutions, we have been helping our clients make better crop insurance decisions since 1981. We always focus on helping you find the best coverage options for your farm, and it will give you peace of mind knowing you have a partner you can trust. To learn more about our agency, please visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution.
Ag Risk Solutions is an equal opportunity provider.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're joined by our new re-elected Attorney General, Derek Schmidt. Derek, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Lester Prairie chicken. I've never known one chicken to cause so much havoc, but it has. We joined with 5 other states and filed a lawsuit against the federal government. Walk us through the process of filing that.
Sure. Well, you know, it's a big issue, and sometimes you get chuckles from folks that don't understand what we're really fighting about when you talk about it as the Lesser Prairie chicken case. But of course, Kansans who live in the affected areas understand this is really a property rights issue. I mean, this is about who gets to make decisions about land use in large parts of our state, especially out west. And that's why it's such an important issue worth fighting about. What's happened here is that a group of environmental interests brought one of these citizen lawsuits against the federal agency, tried to get a federal court order telling the agency to list this species as threatened or endangered. The agency did that, listed them as threatened. We think that's too much. The environmental groups think it's too little, and each of us went out and filed suit to get a different outcome. What this is ultimately boiling down to is we are challenging the process by which the federal agency made the decision to provide additional federal regulation related to land that's prairie chicken habitat, or in other words, land use in Kansas. And we thought there was strength in numbers. It makes sense for the states that are in the affected range to join together, speak with one voice, and for good procedural reasons that are sort of inside baseball on the legal side, that also really strengthens our argument to keep this lawsuit in our neighborhood, in Tulsa, because the federal government very much wants to take it away and try this case in Washington, D.C., and that's not what we want at all.
And you just brought up Tulsa. Tulsa is one of those areas where it looks good for us when filing it in Tulsa. I mean, we've got the other states coming together. Work out best for us filing in Tulsa?
I think so. It makes sense to have the lawsuit in the region, and Oklahoma is a natural place to do it because that state's provided some leadership on bringing the states together. We want very much to try this case close to where the affected area is. We want jurors, we want judges, we want media coverage. We want the law to have arisen out of people and circumstances that understand why this is so important for land use decisions. We don't want it to be another remote bureaucratic fight in Washington, D.C.
Is this a lawsuit that maybe could set precedents moving forward as when we're coming about listings, and we just got a few seconds?
Absolutely possible, yes. I mean, what we're challenging specifically is whether or not one of these sue and settle citizen suit agreements can essentially ignore one of the options available to the agency under the law. And we don't think it can. We don't think the court order trumps the statute.
And long-term effect of that would be the federal agencies will have to basically go through the correct process now instead of being scared and filing.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
We don't want agencies bullying into decisions that are bad for Kansas and we believe inconsistent with the law.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Keystone Pipeline. We're going to talk about waters of the U.S. You're watching the Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Derek, thank you for staying with us.
Bet.
Again, we're joined by our new re-elected Attorney General, Derek Schmidt. Waters of the U.S., it's a big deal. It's a big deal to Kansas. It's a big deal to everybody in Kansas when we talk about agriculture and the amount of business that goes on here in the state of Kansas. What can we do as a state to protect ourselves from overreach from the federal government?
Well, you may recall we went through this about a decade ago, and there was literally a political uprising in the countryside of folks saying, whoa, EPA shouldn't be reaching out here and trying to regulate our farm ponds, our dry ditches, our terraces and waterways. This is the same fight. It's just recast in different terms. I think we have a pretty good leg to stand on in terms of challenging this proposed regulation. Unfortunately, it is a proposed regulation, and that means we have to go through the lengthy federal bureaucratic process. So Kansas is filing comments, sending letters, trying to convince the federal agency to change its ways. But if they don't, we'll wind up in a posture of litigation challenging what they've done in court.
Well, we had the administrator for the EPA coming out. She was in Kansas 4 or 5 months ago talking to everybody and telling everybody, you're reading the rules wrong. I would imagine everybody who's read the rules, we're talking about Farm Bureau and some of the other agencies here in the state of Kansas, have read the rule and understand what the rule is. And,
right.
and they're not reading it wrong, I would imagine.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, if the administrator's comments are really correct in terms of what the agency wants, the problem is not that everybody in the countryside is reading the rule wrong. The problem is the agency has written the rule wrong. And that's what we'd like to convince them to change before we all get down into the nuts and bolts of litigation on it.
Keystone Pipeline's a big issue. Election just several weeks ago, tried to pass this week, did not pass this week, short one vote. It's a big deal to Kansas.
It is. Kansas has been involved in this now for the better part of a decade. The legislature cleared the way for Keystone and some other pipeline construction by law several years ago, and in fact the segments in Kansas are constructed. So we're now waiting for the pipe to be hooked up, if you will, to the oil fields in the north and the refining capacity in the south. Our office has been involved in litigation trying to push this along over the years, but that's not the most effective way to get the job done. The effective way is to get 60 votes in the U.S. Senate and compel this to happen, and I'm very hopeful that's going to happen very soon.
Out of your office, support for farmers and ranchers, I would imagine, is very strong.
Well, it is. You know, I come from an agriculture background, spent a lot of time serving in agriculture public policy areas, including chairing the Senate Agriculture Committee here in Kansas, and it's a focus I brought to the office. We've got a great team working on rural issues and ag issues, and we love partnering with our friends in agriculture.
Website people can follow the lawsuit on the Lesser Prairie Chicken. Is there a website people can follow that on?
They are more than welcome to check in at our website. It's www.ag.ks.gov, and from there you can find information about the status of the lawsuit.
Perfect. We've been joined by Derek Schmidt, our new re-elected Attorney General. So you're watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute. If you'd like to advertise your business on kansasAGreport, give us a call at 785-554-5974.
In March 2014, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service listed the lesser prairie chicken as a threatened species. A threatened listing is a step below endangered under the Endangered Species Act. This allows the service more flexibility in how the Act protections are implemented. In June 2014, the Center for Biological Diversity and other environmental groups filed suit to reclassify the lesser prairie chicken as endangered. If the chicken is listed as endangered, the livelihoods of farmers and ranchers and their rural communities will be significantly impacted. Under the endangered classification, crop producers could be prohibited from conducting routine activities. Ranchers could be prohibited from grazing part or all of their pastures. Producers' income would decline, leaving less financial resources to support their families, their operations, and their rural communities. The new designation would also alter CRP contracts and force farmers and ranchers to alter what they signed up for. This also goes beyond agriculture. The current threatened designation has already lessened oil and gas production, renewable energy projects, and affected real estate values. Any additional designations would go further to reduce the tax base, affecting services by county governments. In October 2014, Kansas Farm Bureau, along with a coalition, filed pleadings to oppose the Center for Biological Diversity from forcing the service from classifying the lesser prairie chicken to an endangered listing. The federal court has agreed to allow Kansas Farm Bureau and its partners to enter in the case and defend the rights of these members.
Kansas Wheat hosted the Home Baking Association, Land O'Lakes, and 502 Media Group in the Syngenta Speak for Wheat Test Kitchen at the Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan this November. 502 Media Group transformed the test kitchen into a film studio overnight, ready for baking demonstrations from the Home Baking Association, Land O'Lakes, and Kansas Wheat. Cindy Falk, nutrition educator at Kansas Wheat, demonstrated how to sculpt a wheat sheaf, turkey, and grand old flag bread out of bread dough, as well as segments on how to shape rolls in both traditional and modern shapes. Julene DeRushi, Kansas Wheat's new nutrition education assistant, highlighted bread's wild side by shaping alligators and turtles. Samantha Kelly from Land O'Lakes demonstrated teddy bear cookies, and Charlene Patton and Sharon Davis of the Home Baking Association showed how to shape spider cookies and braids. Part of Kansas Wheat's domestic marketing initiative is to promote the consumption of Kansas wheat by educating home bakers of all ages. In all, 28 baking segments were filmed over the 2-day period. Bakers worldwide will have the opportunity to learn from these segments via YouTube videos and a collective DVD that will be available for purchase soon from the Home Baking Association at homebaking.org.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations, specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3/4 or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
The National Cattlemen's Beef Association has submitted comments to USDA's Ag Marketing Service on possible revisions in beef grading standards. Significant changes have occurred in the industry since the last grading standards were published in the late 1990s. USDA is seeking input from cattle producers and various stakeholders about potential revisions that better reflect current industry practices. NCBA's comments pointed out checkoff research shows using dentition may be more accurate than observing skeletal maturity when determining age for quality grade purposes. Currently, USDA graders examine visible maturity indicators, including size and shape of the ribs and ossification of bones and cartilage. NCBA suggested while instrument grading is widely accepted for assessing yield grade, there is concern about using it to determine quality grades. The organization's comments recommended the Ag Marketing Service establish a dialogue with participants in the beef chain to identify and address these concerns. Comments submitted were generated from a special working group organized by NCBA that included representatives from all industry sectors. Collectively, the working group agreed there is a need for USDA to gather additional research to ensure any changes in grading standards are data-driven.
Good morning, I'm Chris Haverkamp, and as we look at this week's markets, we look back at the past year and for everything that we should be thankful for. First, while initially looking like this year's crop may be in trouble, we were able to achieve record-setting yields in much of the Western Corn Belt. And true, some areas were not as fortunate, but even if you weren't setting records this year, regional harvest weather was good, and we were able to maintain the quality of this year's crop. Secondly, we have been given a marketing opportunity that not many felt would become available. The recent bounce in corn and soybean prices have been a direct result in domestic demand and international demand. In fact, if you've been watching basis levels, you will identify that basis in corn has risen 20 cents on average from harvest lows, at the same time that futures have also risen approximately 70 cents. Now this is a rare anomaly and one that can challenge even the best grain marketers. Soybeans and milo have also experienced even greater flat price increases, which could go unnoticed to the average producer if you are not engaged in negotiating values on a regular basis. We have a unique approach at Paragon and believe that a strong marketing plan doesn't simply prepare you for price swings in the futures market, but also heavily incorporates an aggressive preparation for cash market selling strategies as well. Thank you to all our customers for a record year at Paragon, and thank you to the American farmer and rancher for all of your hard work and sacrifices.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Bryan Hallman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.